and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's new original Indonesian movie, The Big Four. But before we get into the review, every day in December I've been opening a Star Wars advent calendar, and today's character is a stormtrooper but with his Christmas spirit on. A lot of fun. Let's jump in. Four hitmen hang up their swords but must return to the game when they encounter a virtuous police officer with a mission to catch a heinous villain who always escapes authorities. That is a terrible synopsis for this movie. Both Netflix's description and IMDb isn't really what this is about. It really is about orphans being raised by a surrogate father and a real daughter being raised by this surrogate father, and them two families not knowing of each other. When something happens to said father, the group find themselves together in a big action set pieces, which is basically a movie of set pieces in various locations and action happening in that. The bad guy in this film is the weakest part of the film because he doesn't have a lot fleshed out. We get to find out a little bit about him, but he's the by. He could be any character supervillain in a movie you've seen in an action 80s film ever. That's not to say that this film wasn't a lot of fun. If you took the amazing action film that I think is very underrated, a film called The Losers, you took that and you placed it in Indonesia and you had some of the comedy that's in this film, then I think you start to understand what this film is doing. You add in a little bit of John Wick's gun fu, you get some of that in here. You add the ridiculousness of some B-80 horror movie where you shoot somebody's head and it explodes in the fountain of blood and it keeps, pouring out. That is what you get in here. So you have a mixture of really great choreographed action pieces, and when the people die, they die brutally. And then you have weird comedy, and I say weird because it's just not normal to like the English culture, the American culture. It's more specific to Indonesian culture comedy, the kind of dry wit that I've seen before. And I did go into this film with a little bit of worry because I've seen a number of Indonesian films recently which were terrible. Honestly, I didn't even review. I stopped watching halfway through. I just couldn't get through it. I went into this thinking, please be good. So maybe because I went in with that expectation of just not having seen a decent Indonesian film in a long time, it is a better film, but I don't think so. I actually really found that what this film set out to do, it did well. It doesn't try and rewrite the book, but it takes the action genre and then does its own thing with it because it has fun with it. So it knows what it is. It doesn't try to outstay its welcome. And then the characters that we have within it are a lot of fun, all very defined as these caricatures of themselves. Topan is a judo expert, hand-to-hand combat, gung fu. Dina is wanting to prove to her father who she can be and wanting to kind of live his legacy. Alpha is an explosive expert, and we have one of the best named bombs in this movie I've ever heard, ever. Django is in love with his sniper rifle, and it feels wrong to watch when you see what goes on with him and his sniper rifle. And Pillow hasn't found his way in the group yet, but he will. He's just a lovable character. So you have a mixed group of characters that have spent a lot of time together, and it feels like when you watch them that they know each other well. Their chemistry isn't such that they feel like a family. They bicker, they fight, but it all feels real rather than disingenuous. So when you get them in these action sequences, even though they're not particularly dying, but when they get hurt, you do feel for them, you do worry for them. It does suffer a little bit from plot protection. Bullets go past them, and somehow they're able to take out the bad guys without them really getting super dangerously dead. Can you get dangerously dead? Super dangerously injured. Dangerously dead. That's going to be my new stupid Ruben tag. So there are cliches in this action movie, but you don't care. You kind of put that to the side because what you're getting is great gore, like fountains of blood occasionally. And then when you get the hand-to-hand combat, it's great. When you get the explosions, they're really fun and quite unique. There's uniqueness in the action sequence as well, something different for you to kind of go, oh, that was cool. Reminded me a little bit of The Raid, sort of how it was filmed, but it is in intense as that, but then there's levity to those moments because it knows what it is. It's a sort of 80s action flick that doesn't want to outstay its welcome. Now, it does seem like they want to set up more films for it in the future, and I'll be down for that. I like these characters. I really want to see more of these guys. Actors I'd never heard of, a director I'd never heard of, and this came out of nowhere. I saw the poster, it looked fun. I thought, if this is half as good as The Losers was, I'm going to really enjoy this. I can see myself watching this again. It's not brilliant, but it's really fun. So I'm going to give this 3.75 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one. Congratulations.
Let me know your thoughts on the ending. Do you like where it's going with the possibility of this being a franchise, or do you think it should have been a one and done? What did you think of the movie? Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.